So, yesterday I was listening to KMOJ, which, for those of you who don't know, is the only black radio station in all of Minnesota, which is where I live, Minnesota. But that's besides. I live in the Arctic, but that's besides the point. I was listening to KMOJ, which is the only black radio station, and they were talking about Black History Month, and I was like, oh god, Black History Month, the ultimate tokenization of everything. Oh my god. And they were talking about how we should celebrate Black history and the black people from the history and the blah blah blah, and you know how Black History Month goes. And there was this Langston Hughes poem, and I'm going to read some of it to you. It's called Ballad of Roosevelt. The pot was empty, the cupboard was bare. I said, Papa, what's the matter here? I'm waiting on Roosevelt, son. Wait, Roosevelt, waiting on Roosevelt, son. The rent was due, and the lights was out. I said, tell me, Mama, what's this all about? We're waiting on Roosevelt, son. Roosevelt, just waiting on Roosevelt. Now, there are a few things I don't like about this. First of all, it states a bunch of commonplace problems within the impoverished black community and then chalks them up to laziness, right? So, like, hunger can't be conflated, not really conflated, but, like, you can't conflate poverty and laziness. It doesn't make sense. Like, the cupboard's not bare because of somebody waiting on Roosevelt. The cupboard's bare because of capitalism. Jeez. And then, when the person who is supposed to be this lazy black character starts talking, they start, like, singing this little thing. It's like a little dance. Roosevelt, Sambo Zip Coon. It's just horrible. It's like Uncle Ruckus times Uncle Tom times Medea times 1,000. It's horrible. And it's what you call a Sambo, which is a character from a minstrel show. And I recognize the Sambo all the time, right? Like, if you ever see, because we still have it today, this idea of a Sambo. It's this character who's black, who's content with the system, and who's kind of silly and funny. So, like, that one funny black friend on your Nickelodeon show who's just a goof and who's kind of bad at school, like, that's a Sambo. And this is a Roosevelt. That's a Sambo. So, waiting on Roosevelt. They even add that. And it's just disappointing. And I hate to say this about Langston Hughes, a Langston Hughes poem. I hate to say this about any poem by any esteemed black writer, because I'm not an esteemed black writer, and so I feel like a douche. But it's just kind of sad. Because it's like you get famous off of this. And Langston Hughes writes some brilliant poetry. And I'm ashamed to say that I actually don't know that much about Langston Hughes poetry. I've looked at it before, but I haven't, like, studied it. But, you know, I'm 17, so forgive me. But, this is just sad. And it irritated me. I was having a bad day, and it was on the radio, and I was like, what is this? What is this waiting on Roosevelt? What is this little Sambo sing-song? This is ridiculous. God. So, my question for you all is, what do you think about communal responsibility? Because I don't believe in culpability. I think just like how a group is a collection of people, a person is a collection of atoms. So what do you think about responsibility, and how can we blame the whole black community for this? Because it doesn't make sense. You can't blame the entire black community for a system. You gotta blame the system. And so why would you blame individuals? And I mean, like, blame is kind of a flawed concept to begin with. But assuming we accept blame because we need, like, utilitarianism and we need to, like, control people or whatever, let's blame the systems and not the people, because they're the ones functioning beneath the systems. But yeah, let me know what you think about that.